Hey, I'm Courtney Waterman, your tutor. Lover of anime, manga, and math. And you just tuned into another session of Tutor Me Sempai. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're jumping into an 11th grade topic, converting radians to degrees and degrees to radians. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'll be putting time codes in for this video in the description box below, so use that to skip ahead to whatever part of the video you think is most interesting. As always, if you have any questions about what we see today, or even your own homework, you can always put in the comment box below, or visit me on my Facebook page at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. At the end of this video, I'll be linking my 11th grade playlist in which I cover a lot more topics, so if you're interested in that, make sure you stay tuned. This video is going to have 3 parts, so leave a like, smash subscribe, and let's get started! Whenever you're converting from radians to degrees, or even degrees to radians, you're going to be following the same steps you would for any other unit conversion. The main thing you need to know is that your pi is going to be equal to 180 degrees. If you can commit this to memory, you can then set up your 2 conversion fractions in the following way. So whenever you're converting from radians to degrees or degrees to radians, you're going to be using one of these 2 conversion fractions. The question is, which one do you use? Well, that's going to be decided in the same way you would for any other unit conversion as well. Whatever you're converting to is going to be in your numerator. Whatever you're converting from is in your denominator. So if you're trying to convert to radians, you're going to be using this one right here. You see, radians is already going to be in our numerator. If you're trying to convert to degrees, you're going to be using this one. You see, our degrees is going to be in our numerator. So once again, remember, whatever you're going to is in your numerator. Wherever you're coming from is in your denominator. So let's see how this all is supposed to work out with a couple of examples. So for these examples, we're going to be going from degrees to radians. And I'm going to be sticking to numbers that you can easily find on your unit circle so you can make sure you can check your math after you convert them. But it doesn't mean that you can only use this method for things that are on your unit circle. You can use this method for any degrees and any radians. But I'm going to stick with this one so you can easily have a reference to make sure you're doing it correctly. So our first one, we want to convert 225 degrees to its radian equivalent. Now remember, we have 2 different conversion fractions. We have this one, and we have this one. Which one do we want to use when we're going from degrees and we're going to radians? Well, remember, whatever you're going to should already be in your numerator. If we're going to radians, we should have a pi in our numerator, so we're going to stick with this conversion fraction. So we don't need this 180 degrees in our numerator, we need it in our denominator. So we simply multiply where we're starting from by our conversion fraction, which is going to be that pi over 180 degrees. And make sure you put your degrees there. And we're going to see what that gives us. Now, we can multiply across, and we're going to cancel out that degree, right? So we're going to have 225 pi over 180. Now we shouldn't actually leave this like this because this can be simplified. And if you try to simplify this, you'll notice that you can take out a 45 from the top and the bottom. And that leaves us with a 5 pi on the top and a 4 in our denominator. So if we're starting at 225 degrees, through our conversion method, we see that it's actually going to be equivalent to 5 pi over 4 when we convert it to radians. Let's do the same thing for this 330 degrees. We're going to use the same exact conversion fraction, so that's pi over 180 degrees. We multiply across, so that's 330 pi over 180. We will cross out those degrees. And just like before, we should simplify this. And when you try to, you can see that you can extract a 30 from the top and the bottom. And if you extract that 30, you'll be left with 11 pi over 6. So if you start with 330 degrees and you're converting it to a radian, you're going to be ended up with 11 pi over 6. Now let's try going from radians to degrees. So for these examples, we're going from radians to degrees. And we have 2 pi over 3 for our first one and 3 pi over 2 for our second one. So remember, what are going to be our conversion fractions that we're going to be using in this case? Well, because we're going to degrees, we want to make sure that our 180 degrees is in our numerator, which means that our pi has to be in our denominator. So we're going to use that same fraction for both of these. So it's 180 degrees over pi. So starting with our first one, we can multiply across. But notice that your pi's cancel out. We are no longer in radians. And we can also simplify this 3 and 180 to be 1 and 60. So when we multiply everything across, we actually get 2 times 60 degrees, which is 120 degrees. So if you're converting 2 pi over 3 to degrees, you're going to end up with 120 degrees. We do the same thing for our second one. Our pi's cancel out, no longer in radians. We can simplify that to 90 degrees, and we multiply across what's 3 times 90 degrees. Well, that's going to be 270 degrees. So like I said, I chose some really easy ones that you can find on your unit circle just so you can check your math. But this method can be done for any radians and any degrees. Just make sure you're using the correct conversion fraction. Well, I hope you were able to follow along with today's examples, and I hope you now know how you convert radians to degrees and degrees to radians. But if you have any questions of what we saw today, or even your own homework, you can always put in the comment box below, or visit my Facebook page at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. If you hadn't done so already, remember to leave a like. It really helps the channel by letting YouTube know that you found the video helpful. And if you found the video helpful, so can someone else. So leave a like, hit the notification bell, smash the subscribe button, and share this video with a friend. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I really hope this helped with your homework, and I'm hoping to see you again next week. I'm Courtney, this is your playlist, and this has been another session of Tutor Me Sempai.